Angels descended with fury. Padre Pio watched heaven mobilize with power that shook him, not gently, not slowly, with warrior intensity. A man had just helped someone everyone else was avoiding, someone everyone else had given up on. And all of heaven erupted. The person everyone avoided was sitting alone, homeless, filthy, smelling of alcohol and streets. People walked past quickly, holding their breath, averting their eyes. No one wanted to get involved. Too messy, too complicated, too hopeless. Then this man stopped. He did not just give money. He sat down. He asked the person's name. He listened to their story. He treated them like a human being, not a problem, not a statistic, not invisible. He saw them. He stayed. He helped in ways that cost him time, dignity, comfort. That is when Padre Pio saw what heaven does when you help someone everyone else ignores. The vision had struck him while praying for the forgotten. He was interceding for those society had rejected. Suddenly the veil tore. He saw what happens in the spiritual realm when someone helps the outcast. Angels descended like an army, not dozens, legions. They moved with speed that suggested this was the most important thing happening on earth at that moment. One angel moved to the outcast immediately. It began healing, not just physical wounds, the deeper ones, the shame, the despair, the belief that no one cared. That angel was restoring what years of rejection had destroyed. Another angel surrounded the man who stopped, protecting him from the judgment of others, from the social cost of helping, from the voices saying he was foolish, wasting his time, enabling bad behavior. A third angel was marking something, recording something. This moment would have eternal weight. What looked like a small act of kindness was being written in heaven as something far greater. Heaven had responded to this man's compassion as though helping one rejected person was worth the attention of all. Heaven, and perhaps it was. Padre Pio felt his breath catch. He had seen people help others before. He had witnessed charity. He had seen programs for the poor. But this response was different, more violent, more total, more urgent. Why? What made this man's help different from all others? Days later, something shocked Padre Pio deeply. He saw another outcast, another helper, but this helper was different. He organized a program, efficient, professional. He helped many people, but he kept distance. He did not touch them. He did not learn their names. He did not sit with them. He managed the problem, solved the logistics, then went home to comfort. The spiritual realm barely stirred. A few angels came. They did minimal work. People were helped physically, but heaven did not mobilize. Heaven was not responding with power, not because the outcasts were unimportant, but because the help had no presence. Padre Pio understood immediately. Both people had helped outcasts. Both had given resources. Both had responded to need. But heaven saw what each person gave. The first man had given dignity. He sat at eye level. He used the person's name. He treated them as equal. He entered their world. He risked his reputation. He sacrificed his comfort. The second man had given resources, efficiently, safely, from distance. He helped the problem, but he never saw the person. Heaven responds to helping that costs dignity, not to helping from safety. Weeks later, something shocked Padre Pio even more. The angels had not left the first man. They were still there, still surrounding him, still blessing him. And what they did next revealed the secret. Most people never learn about helping outcasts. The man who had helped faced his own crisis, sudden, devastating. He lost everything, his job, his home, his savings. He was on the verge of becoming what he had helped, an outcast himself. But the angels moved with fierce protection. Help came from impossible sources. Strangers offered exactly what he needed. Doors opened that should have been closed. He never became homeless, never became desperate. He never connected it to the day he sat with the outcast. He thought he was just fortunate, that people were kind, but Padre Pio saw the truth. Heaven was still responding. The angels had never stopped. The help he had given was being returned, multiplied. Nothing moved for a long moment. Then the vision deepened. Padre Pio began to see the pattern heaven was revealing. The help that summoned heaven's full response was not the most organized, not the most efficient, not the most professional. It was the most personal. The souls that brought heaven to immediate action were those whose help carried a specific quality. It was not about the amount given. It was about seeing the person, about entering their world, about treating outcasts as equals. These souls did not help to feel good about themselves. They helped because they saw a human being everyone else had stopped seeing, because invisibility is death, because everyone deserves dignity, and heaven cannot resist that kind of love. At first, Padre Pio saw only the outward act. Both people had helped outcasts, both had given resources, but heaven saw what motivated each person. The first man's help had been pure, no agenda, no keeping score, no maintaining distance. He entered fully into the outcast's reality. He risked judgment, he sacrificed comfort, he gave dignity. The second man's help had been managed, organized, safe. He solved problems without entering pain. He helped without seeing people, and heaven responds to presence, not to programs. The vision paused. Padre Pio felt heaven preparing to reveal something deeper, not just what happened when people helped outcasts, but why this unleashed such power that the silence stretched. His breathing slowed, then the vision resumed differently. Padre Pio saw that helping outcasts mirrors how Christ helped. He touched lepers, he ate with tax collectors, he sat with prostitutes, he entered their world, he gave them dignity. When someone helps outcasts from distance, it is charity, good, but not transformative. Heaven recognizes it, but heaven does not mobilize. But when someone helps outcasts by entering their world, heaven sees Christ. And when heaven sees Christ reflected in a human act, all of heaven responds. That kind of help summons warrior angels, because that help is sacred, holy, the very thing heaven was created to multiply. A soul that helps outcasts has released all concern for reputation, for comfort, for safety. They enter the mess, they touch the untouchable, they see the invisible, and that sacrifice moves all of heaven. Padre Pio understood now what made the difference. Helping outcasts is not about having resources, not about organizing programs, not about appearing charitable. It is about dignity, about seeing people everyone else stopped seeing, about entering worlds everyone else avoids, about treating the rejected as equals. The soul helps when helping costs everything, when it risks reputation, when it requires entering mess, when it means being judged. That willingness proves the love is real. He saw another example. A woman encountered a mentally ill person ranting, screaming. Everyone crossed the street, terrified, disgusted, wanting nothing to do with someone so broken. The woman stopped. She did not call the police. She did not walk away. She sat down nearby. She waited. When the screaming stopped, she asked gently if the person was hungry, if they needed anything. Padre Pio watched angels fill that street. The moment the woman chose to stay, heaven responded. Angels surrounded the mentally ill person, calming, soothing, making coherence possible where there had been only chaos. The woman spent an hour. She got the person food. She found a shelter that would take them. She used the person's name. She treated them with gentleness. She never knew what happened that day. She thought she had just helped someone, done what anyone should do. But Padre Pio saw the angels. They had come because one woman chose to see a person everyone else had labeled as crazy, dangerous, hopeless. She had given dignity where everyone else gave only fear. The single choice to help someone everyone else ignored had opened heaven's power over both their lives. The vision began to fade. Padre Pio remained still. He would never tell people to help outcasts to gain blessing, but he would say quietly to those who came to him, when you see someone everyone else is avoiding, stop. Do not walk past. Do not look away. Do not convince yourself someone else will help. Sit with them. Ask their name. Listen to their story. Treat them like a human being, not a problem, not a project, a person. Not to gain blessing, but because invisibility is death, because everyone deserves to be seen, because dignity matters more than comfort. Help, even when it costs your reputation, even when it risks judgment, even when it requires entering mess, not to appear compassionate, but because that is how Christ helped. He entered, he touched, he saw. And watch what happens. Watch how heaven responds when you help someone everyone else has given up on. He sat in silence long after the vision ended. The room felt different now, charged with possibility. The truth remained with him, not as technique, but as reality. Angels respond to helping outcasts immediately, not because heaven rewards compassion, but because helping outcasts with dignity mirrors Christ. And when humans love like Christ, heaven mobilizes completely, the kind of protection that never fails, the kind heaven has waited to give.